Guten Morgen. Today is Gimel Tamuz 5784. It's Tuesday morning, July 9th, 2024. We're going to be speaking about Lakewood, New Jersey today and also areas around there. The heat is really very impressive, and I'm going to tell you why. It's really not so much the temperatures, it's the dew points. Very serious stuff going on over there in the central New Jersey area, but it's not just over there. It's also impressive for other reasons. Let's just speak about dew points for just a second. So officially, a dew point of 60 degrees or higher is considered humid. That's the official definition of humid according to the National Weather Service. Generally, you're not going to hear the term humid, however, until dew points get into the upper 60s from many locations. We currently, in Lakewood, New Jersey, we currently have a dew point of 78 degrees. This is according to the windy.com, the weather station that's located in Lakewood. It should be pointed out that dew point sensors, it's very difficult to get accurate dew point sensors. It's not like a thermometer. However, there are other weather stations which are reporting very similar things. Even airport weather stations are reporting dew points in the mid and upper 70s right now across Lakewood, New Jersey. I am not there, but I can just tell you that the dew points are very, very high. And what also makes this impressive is that apparently the water temperatures along the Atlantic Ocean have dropped due to upwelling. So nonetheless, we have dew points which have gone way, way high. A dew point of 78 degrees. If the temperature would be in the 90s, that can make the temperature feel 13 degrees warmer than what it actually is. And for some people, even hotter than that, especially if you're exercising. The humidity is very intense when you're exercising. And in fact, the most accurate way to do this would be to look at the wet bulb temperature. The wet bulb temperature, all I have to the most efficient way to do this is just to use the European computer model. The problem is I don't know the accuracy because it is just a computer model, but nonetheless, we're talking about today. You know, how off could it be already? And we're looking at very significant wet bulb temperatures in the upper 70s. In fact, some areas, well, when you head towards upper 70s, but the wet bulb global temperatures are likely going to be several degrees hotter than that, going into the 80s. That's something which you have to plug in a ton of variables on a National Weather Service website to figure out what the exact wet bulb global temperatures. But just to give you an idea of how high that is, when you go into Arizona, the wet bulb temperatures are only in the 60s. So that's something which is important to know if you're exercising, that if you're jogging or something like that, the heat will feel extra oppressive in the New Jersey area. It's not just Lakewood, really. It's Baltimore, Washington, D.C. It's New York as well. And these are dew points, believe it or not, these are dew points that would occur in the most oppressive heat waves in the Midwest Corn Belt. Many people may not be aware of how humid the Midwest Corn Belt gets, but the Midwest Corn Belt is the most humid part of the United States. At least it's been that way up until last summer. Not on average, but when we have a tropical air mass over the Midwest Corn Belt, that's where the highest humidity is. Last summer and this summer, the highest humidity, 80-degree dew points, could be found across Galveston, Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas. That has been not only the highest dew points, it's always been on average the highest dew points. It's even higher there than Florida. I don't know about the average, but the peak dew points around there are higher than Florida. It's rare, very rare to see an 80-degree dew point across Florida. If you look at the European computer model and we look at the dew points this afternoon, so you see dew points in the low 70s. I wanted to take you through all in New York also. We have high dew points. Dew points are relatively high also when you get into Boston. They're a little bit lower in Boston, but we have high dew points there as well. I wanted to walk you through all 5 different computer models for the forecast highs today across Lakewood, New Jersey. We're just going to focus in on Lakewood right now. And we're using the windy.com and Here we go. We have right now the GFS computer model. That's the National Weather Service model, forecasting a high in the low 90s today. High is near 92 degrees. At the time, it's 92. Dew points in the low 70s. That will be producing heat indices in the mid, possibly upper 90s. The next, we have the European computer model, forecasting a high right around 90 degrees. Dew points also in the mid 70s, producing a heat index around 99 degrees. The ICON computer model forecasting a high of 92 degrees. We have the Meteo Blue computer model forecasting a high of 92 degrees. The North American Mesoscale model forecasting a high of 92 degrees. The high resolution, this is a new one. This is a brand new computer model. The high resolution DPS, 2.5 kilometers, forecasting a high of 91 degrees, and the high resolution rapid refresh forecasting a high of 92 degrees. Lots of 92 degrees. In fact, everyone 92, with the exception of the European computer model. We do have also a thunderstorm is being forecasted by one of the higher resolution models, an afternoon thunderstorm. Any thunderstorm could be a very intense rainmaker. Regarding the dew points, so the dew points are high no matter which model you look at. High resolution rapid refresh looks to have the highest dew point, 76 degrees with a temperature of 92. That will put a heat index up at 103 degrees this afternoon. Again, that's for Lakewood, New Jersey. And the dew point currently is 78 degrees. European computer model has that dew point at 77 degrees. Very hot weather. And it's the humidity, oppressive humidity, really oppressive stuff. One thing to point out, however, is the wind speeds. If you look at the wind speeds, we're looking at a wind speed this afternoon, winds of about 10 miles an hour, says the European computer model, along with some of the other models. The heat index chart was made for wind speeds of 5.6 miles an hour. So the winds could, if there is a wind, that could greatly reduce the heat index, not just almost cancel it out. So during a time of a gusty breeze, people will notice, even when they're exercising, that it almost cancels out the heat index. But even with that, you still have temperatures in the 90s. I think this is really unusual for the East Coast to have heat like this with such consistency. It's the consistency that's really doing it. If you look at the European computer model which is a good model to look at for the next several days, we're really looking at temperatures generally just in the 90s. In fact, by a week from tomorrow, temperatures go into the upper 90s. That's Sunday, Monday, temperatures all in the 90s. Also, we have a tropical storm barrel. The remnants of tropical storm barrel will be remaining to our northwest. That's as it gets washed out. A cold front might get washed out also on Friday, perhaps Shabbos as well. It's not clear what's going to be happening regarding that front. It's not clear where the front is going to position itself. But there is hope in a little bit cooler weather for Friday and Shabbos because of that system. There is, and especially if rain should develop, temperatures might be able to stay only in the 80s. That is a possibility. It's important to mention that the National Weather Service does have a heat advisory in effect. The heat advisory has been extended through Wednesday at this point. And always remember, in weather, nothing's ever 100%. These are just forecasts. Put it at 80%. The National Weather Service considers 80% to be something that is expected. So we could say 80%. I wish everybody a wonderful day. Yirtzeh Hashem. Everyone stay safe. And I wish everyone Hatzlacha. Take care.